The Committee on Rules is hereby convenes this meeting. For the record, today's date is Wednesday, January 14, 2026, and the time is now 2:00 p.m. The first notice for this meeting was sent to all media outlets on Wednesday, January 7, 2026, and posted on the Government of Guam Public Notices portal that same day. The second notice was sent to all media outlets on Monday, January 12, 2026, and posted on the Government of Guam Public Notices portal that same day as well. Good afternoon, my colleagues, and thank you for being here this afternoon. The rules of engagement, the chair will recognize a member who raises their hand to make a motion, and the chair will rule a member out of order if they have not been recognized by the chair. The Committee on Rules Director, Ms. Karen Nelson, will now call the roll of members.
Chairperson Vice Speaker Addo.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Senator Dueñas. Speaker Blas. Here. Senator Salas Manzanani. Senator Borja. Senator Calvo. Senator Gumatautau. Senator Lujan. Senator Taitegui. Senator Muñoz Barnes. Senator San Augustine. Mr. Chair, there is a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Director.
Madam Chair, I move to excuse members not present.
There's a motion to excuse members not present. Any objections? No objections. Colleagues, the Committee on Rules meeting minutes can be found on the Google Drive folder dated January 14, 2026, labeled III, approval of the 38th Guam Legislature Committee on Rules minutes meeting. Is there a motion to approve the Committee on Rules meeting minutes for the November 17, 2025 meeting subject to correction?
So moved.
Any objections? No objections. We'll now move on to item 4 of the Committee on Rules agenda. I will recognize our Legislative Secretary, Senator Sabrina Salas Mantanani, who has prepared the document tracking. And again, colleagues, these documents are available in the Google Drive dated January 14, 2026. Senator Mantanani, you're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the Legislative Secretary report to the Committee on Rules summarizing activity to date. There have been 56 appointments submitted and 41 confirmed, while 1 has been withdrawn. 4 applications regarding zone changes have been received. There are 7 proposed rules and regulations. The full report containing more detailed information, as you mentioned, is available and has been filed in the committee drive. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Salas Mantanani. Ratification, bills, resolutions, and appointment. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda, sub-item B, ratification of referrals, re-referrals. Colleagues, these documents again can be found in the Google Drive folder labeled 04B, legislative log items. Does the chair hear a motion to ratify the referral of bill number 212-38 COR through 221-38 COR? Go ahead.
When you want to go through the whole thing and we'll just one motion?
We can go separate if you like, Speaker.
So move.
Okay.
On the first referral.
Any objections on the bills 212-38 COR through 221-38 COR? No objections. On bill number 223-38 COR through 231-38 COR?
So
Any
moved.
objection? No objections. 223-38 COR through 235-38 COR?
So moved.
Any objections? No objections. 237-38 COR?
So moved.
Any objections? None. 238-38 COR?
So moved.
Any objections? There being none. 239-38 LS through 242-38 LS?
So moved.
Any objections? There being none. And 243-38 COR through 247-38 COR?
So moved.
Any objections? There being none. Does the chair hear a motion to ratify the referral of resolution number 117-38 COR?
So moved.
Any objections? None. 119-38 COR. Any objections? There being none. 126-38 COR?
So moved.
Any objections? There being none. 127-38 COR. Any objections? There being none. And 132-38 COR.
So moved.
Any objections? There being none. Does the chair hear a motion to ratify the referral of appointments? Any objections? There being none, we'll now move to the items cleared for consideration of the session agenda. Speaker Blas, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the Committee on Land, Environment, Housing, Agriculture, Parks, and Infrastructure, I'd like to report out the following bills for consideration. First off, Bill number 29-38 COR, as amended by the Committee on Land, Environment, Housing, Agriculture, Parks, and Infrastructure by Sabina Flores Perez and V. Anthony Yara, an act to add a new Article 6 of Chapter 48, Division 1, Title 21, Guam Code annotated relative to prohibitions on discrimination in housing based on source of income as to promote equitable access to housing.
On Bill 29-38 COR, any objections? There being none,
The next bill, Mr. Chair, is Bill number 41-38 COR, as amended by the committee and sponsored by Senator Joe S. San Augustine, which is an act to add a new J to subsection 80105 of Chapter 80, Title 21, Guam Code annotated, relative to transferring lot numbers 7100, 7102, 7103, and 7146 in Hanum in the municipality of Jigo, Guam, to the Guam Ancestral Land Use Commission.
on Bill number 41-38 COR, any objections? There being none,
The next bill, Mr. Chair, is Bill number 79-38 COR, as amended by the committee, and is an act sponsored by the Vice Speaker V. Anthony Yara, which is an act to authorize Imagahagan Guam to sell a portion of Block 8 in New Agate designated as Block 8 Park Area and to deposit the proceeds of the sale into the Chamorro Land Trust Infrastructure and Survey Fund.
on Bill number 79-38 COR, any objections? No objections. Speaker Blas, you're recognized.
From the Committee on Finance and Government Operations, I'd like to be able to report out Bill number 195-38 COR, as amended by the Committee on Finance and Government Operations, sponsored by Senator Vincent A.V. Bora, which is an act to add a new subsection 849.18 to Chapter 8, Title 1, Guam Code annotated, relative to renaming the George Washington football field as the Loring Santos Cruz Field.
On Bill number 195-38 COR, any objections? There being none, thank you. Senator Salas-Matanan, you're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place on session agenda Bill number 16938 COR as amended by the Committee on Health and Veterans Affairs. It was introduced by Senator Therese Terlahi, co-sponsored by myself, Sabina Flores Perez, Chris Barnett, Tello Tidegui, Joe San Augustine, Frank Blas Jr. It is an act to amend Article 8 of Chapter 3, Title 10, Guam Code annotated relative to establishing Guam Community Health Centers as an autonomous agency.
On Bill number 169-38 COR, any objections? There being none, Senator Salas-Matanani.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place Bill number 21538 COR onto the session agenda as amended by the Committee on Health and Veterans Affairs. It was introduced by Senator Vince Borja. It is an act to add a new subsection E to subsection 21103 of Chapter 21, Division 2, Title 10, Guam Code annotated, relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student support fundraisers.
On Bill number 215-38 COR, is there any objections? No objections. Senator Borja, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to place on the session agenda Bill number 201-38 COR as amended by the Committee on Education, Libraries, and Public Broadcasting, introduced by myself, Senator Vincent A.V. Bora, an act to amend subsection 3102.3 of Article 1, Chapter 3, Division 2, Title 17, Guam Code annotated relative to extending terms of office and implemented staggered terms for the Guam Education Board to enhance stability, continuity, and focus on student outcomes.
On Bill number 201-38 COR, any objections? No objections? So moved. Senator Borja, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to place on the session agenda Bill number 202-38 COR as amended by the Committee on Education, Libraries, and Public Broadcasting, introduced by myself, Senator Vincent A.V. Borja, an act to add a new Chapter 56 to Division 5 of Title 17, Guam Code annotated, relative to establishing the Guam Veterans Higher Education Benefits Act.
On Bill number 202-38 COR, are there any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Taiduga, you're recognized, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and colleagues. I'd like to place on the agenda Bill number 138-38 COR as amended by the Committee on Economic Investment, Military Buildup, Regional Relations, Technology, Regulatory Affairs, Justice, Election, and Retirement, introduced by Vice Speaker Tony Ada, an act to amend 7.58 of Article 2, Chapter 7, Title 9, Guam Code Annotated, relative to holding persons criminally responsible for crimes committed after knowingly, willingly, or intentionally consuming alcohol and other substance by repealing the limitations of the intoxication defense.
On Bill number 138-38 COR, any objections? There being none, so moved. Senator Taiduga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish to place on the session agenda, Bill number 162-38 COR, and amended by the Committee on Economic Investment, Military Buildup, Regional Relations, Technology, Regulatory Affairs, Justice, Election, and Retirement, introduced by Vice Speaker V. Anthony Ada, Christopher Duenas, Jesse Lujan, Sabrina Salas-Mantanani, Speaker Frank F. Blas Jr., Senator Chris Barnett, Senator Joseph Augustine, Senator Sabina Forrest Paris, and Senator Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes and Senator Shelley V. Cowell. It's an act to amend 19.50 of Chapter 19, Title 9, Guam Code Annotated, relative to adding fines and stronger penalties, terroristic conduct, including bomb scare threats.
On Bill number 162-38 COR, any objections? There being none, so moved.
And my last bill for the agenda, my motion to place it on, is Bill number 21038 COR. It's as amended by the Committee on Economic Investment, Military Buildup, Regional Relations, Technology, Regulatory Affairs, Justice, Election, and Retirement. This bill is introduced by myself, Senator Tello Taiduga, and Senator Sabina Flores Paris. It's an act to add a new Article 3 to Division 1, Chapter 6, Title 17 of the Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations relative to the Department of Labor promulgation to the rules and regulations for the implementation and enforcement of Public Law 36118, the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act.
On Bill number 210-38 COR, any objections? There being none, so moved. We'll move on to the second listing. Speaker Blas, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Committee on Land, Environment, Housing, Agriculture, Parks, and Infrastructure, I'd like to be able to move to place Bill number 150-38 LS as amended by the committee onto the session agenda. Bill 150-38 LS is sponsored by myself, Frank F. Blas Jr., which is an act to rezone lot number 5228-R4-R2-1 portion in the municipality of Barrigada from agricultural A to light industrial M1.
On Bill number 150-38 LS, any objections? There being none, so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to be able to move Bill number 217-38 COR as amended by the Committee on Land, Environment, Housing, Agriculture, Parks, and Infrastructure onto the session agenda, sponsored by Senator Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes, which is an act to add a new Article 70124 to Chapter 70 of Title 21 Guam Code Annotated, relative to authorizing licensed electricians to conduct weatherhead inspections and certification.
On Bill number 217-38 COR, any objections? There being none, so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The third bill is Bill number 240-38 LS. To move this bill into the session agenda, sponsored by Senator Christopher M. Duenas, V. Anthony Ada, Jesse A. Lujan, Vincent A. Bora, Sabrina Salas-Mantanani, and Shangla Matauta, which is an act to amend Section 61309, Article 3, Chapter 61, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, relative to adding temporary workforce housing as a permitted use for M1 light industrial zones.
On Bill number 240-38 LS, any objections? There being none, so moved. Speaker Blas.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Committee on Finance and Government Operations, I'd like to be able to place Bill number 235-38 COR as amended by the committee onto the assessment agenda. The bill is sponsored by Senator Christopher M. Duenas, Senator Vincent A.V. Boyle, Senator Jesse A. Lohan, Senator Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, Vice Speaker B. Anthony Ada, and Senator Joe S. San Augustine, which is an act to amend Section 8 of Chapter 1 of Public Law 38-60 relative to pre-development stage expenses for the Simon and A. Sanchez High School project.
On Bill number 235-38 COR, any objections? There being none, so moved.
The nominations.
We'll do the nominations for the session agenda considerations by committee. Speaker Blas, you recognized on behalf of Chairman Dueñas.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Committee on Finance and Government Operations, I'd like to move the appointment of Mr. Anthony P. Beneventi to serve as a member, Civil Service Commission, Board of Commissioners onto the session agenda.
On the appointment of Anthony P. Beneventi, any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Salas Matanan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Health and Veterans Affairs reports out the following nomination and moves that it be added to the session agenda. That is the appointment of Matthew E. Limtiaco, M.S., CISSP, to serve as a member on the Board of Trustees for the Guam Memorial Hospital Board of Trustees.
On the appointment of Matthew E. Limtiaco, M.S., CISSP, any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Borja, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to place on the session agenda the following nominations reported out from the Committee on Education, Libraries, and Public Broadcasting. The appointment of David J.N. Camacho to serve as a member, retired teacher representative, Guam Academy Charter School Council, for a term of 3 years from date of confirmation.
On the appointment of David J.N. Camacho, any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Borja, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to place on the session agenda the appointment of Evangeline M. Cepeda to serve as member, general public representative, Guam Academy's Charter Schools Council, a term of 3 years from date of confirmation.
On the appointment of Evangeline M. Cepeda, any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Gubin-Tauta, you're recognized, sir.
Sorry, thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Public Safety, Emergency Management, and the Guam National Guard reports out the following nomination for the session agenda: the appointment of Karen L. Watson, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, Adjutant General, Guam National Guard, Director of the Department of Military Affairs.
On the appointment of Karen L. Watson, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, any objections? No objections, so moved. Speaker Blas, you are recognized.
Thank you, sir. On
Senator
behalf
Lohan.
of the Committee on Transportation, Tourism, Customs, Utilities, and Federal and Foreign Affairs, I'd like to be able to report out the nomination and the appointment of Doris Flores Brooks, Commissioner, Certified Public Accountant Representative to the Public Utilities Commission, to place onto the session agenda.
On the appointment of Doris Flores Brooks, any objections? There being none, so moved. Senator Borja, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just want to put on the record some potential items pending. Of course, public hearing tomorrow, and putting together the committee report before the session is, and the reason that I'm putting this out there is GCC is requested for us to amend the law to change out the requirement for the trustee is requiring somebody from a union, which they've never had a representative. So it's Bill number 251-38, an act to amend subsection 31101, Chapter 31, Division 4, Title 17, Guam Code annotated, relative to the Guam Community College Board of Trustees composition to enhance business and industry representation. And then also the appointment of Frank Ariola and Rose P. Greeno to serve on the Board of Trustees for the Guam Community College.
Can we bifurcate that, Mr. Chair?
We'll go ahead and bifurcate it. We'll do the bill first, Bill 251-38 COR, and this will be subject to the committee report being filed, and then we can move to
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I have a question, Mr. Chair, if I
Senator
may.
Tadiwi, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, we've always said that any bill that goes onto the agenda has to, at least while we're here, or I guess maybe the close of the day, have all committee reports available for sake of transparency for the public to be able to be notified in advance. So I want to know, has this bill been uploaded to the website today? And does it plan on being uploaded at all today?
The Senator Board, the public hearing is scheduled
For tomorrow.
For
the committee
tomorrow.
report is not there,
Okay.
Mr. Chair. So,
So it's, okay, but it will not, it hasn't even had a public hearing.
Right.
And what's the intention, is to put this on the next session?
And this session agenda as the urgency for,
the board, the urgency is because they need to hire the new president, and they need these board members confirmed and the one other position filled in order for them to move forward with filling the vacancy.
Thank you, Mitch, for that explanation. However, if we're going to stay the course that we've always stayed this last year in providing, committee reports while we're in the committee of the whole to be placed on a session, I don't understand why we should have to bend the rules for something like this, because then we're going to continue to bend the rules moving forward. And there's really nothing to object at this point, However, I'd like to remind this body, the decision that we made, and for the sake of transparency to the public, that we maintain this rule that was put in place for a good reason. And so I just want to bring that to light.
thank you, Senator Taidui, for that information as well. On the bill, on the motion to place 251-38, once the committee report is finalized. Any objections?
Object.
There's an objection. All those in favor of placing 251-38, please signify by raising your hands. Motion passes. On the appointments of the two individuals, name them again.
Mr. Speaker, it would be the appointment of Frank B. Areola and Rose P. Greeno to serve as Member Board of Trustees, Guam Community College, General Public.
On Rose Greeno and Frank Areola,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
on the same board?
Yes, sir.
For the same board.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Senator Taidui, you're recognized again, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, has this had a public hearing yet? Have they had their public hearing yet?
Senator Borja, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, no.
Okay. Mr. Chair and colleagues, I don't know whose fault it is for not getting these in on time. Many of us have try to stay on top of our committees to make sure, that if something is coming up or it's lacking thereof, that we step up as senators. Even if sometimes we have to hold the hands of these agencies. However, again, we are breaking the rules that we put into place by placing anybody on the session agenda that has not met the requirements of today's meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I object.
There's been an objection.
Mr. Chair, to address their concern, this has nothing to do with myself or my staff. The appointments came from the governor last week, and so the institution reached out and asked. Again, I understand the rules, and I'm not asking for any exception. But if the group decides not to do that, we'll make it work. But we're asking, notwithstanding the rules, to be able to entertain this in the next session.
So there's a notwithstanding the House rules, and there's been an objection to the two appointees. All those in favor of the appointees to be placed on, please signify by raising your hand. Motion passes. The chair now opens the floor for further discussions. Any member wishes to be recognized? Senator Taidui, you're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I made my point earlier discussing about bills coming onto the session agenda, especially ones that haven't even had a public hearing. We've been down that road before. Now, whether whose fault it is not submitting the appointees in time, that's a mistake. I'm sure they'll probably won't forget next time if we don't put them on the session agenda. And I think it's a lesson that needs to be learned from the other side, that they think they can get away with us get away with putting someone on their session agenda, regardless of our rules that we put into place, notwithstanding, can be very dangerous as we move forward, especially when we start changing the rules. And everyone who raised their hand today, you're breaking the rules that we set into place. For what? Is this a health issue? Is this an emergency issue? No. So we're starting this year, this election year off, by making concessions to things that obviously is not in the best interests of the people. It's not a safety issue. It's not a, public health issue. If this is the way moving forward, then let the media be known. Who's the one willing to break the rules that we put into play? So I really ask my colleagues to reconsider the actions. And if not, then let it be known to the public. And if it needs to be reminded throughout this year, then I'll be sure to be the one to remind the public. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Taidigui. We've got to go back one step here. And does the chair hear a motion to adopt the session agenda?
So moved.
No objections? There's an objection. All those in favor of the session agenda, please signify by raising your hands. Motion passes. Do I hear any a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, so moved.
So moved. The Committee on Rules hereby is adjourned this meeting at 2:27 p.m. Committee is adjourned. Thank you.